welcome to GoPro Recruiting Mastery 2018. Are you ready? Please help me welcome to the stage with a thunderous round of applause, the most powerful couple in network marketing, Eric and Marina Worre.
How's it going, everybody? Wow. Welcome. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. Have a seat, everybody. How do you like this arena? Isn't it something? If you were here last year at the convention center, you can feel the difference already. We're so happy to have all of you from all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I'm not kidding. How many of you are from outside the United States? Let's hear some noise. Isn't that amazing what we're doing inside of this network marketing profession? If you don't know this woman, you should. She's the CEO of Network Marketing Pro. She's my far better half, Miss Marina Worre. Give her a little love, will you?
I'm so excited to see all of you guys. Welcome to the 9th GoPro Recruiting Mastery event. And I truly want to thank you all, because without your help, this event wouldn't be what it is today. Because of your help and trust in all of us, this event became the biggest and the safest event inside of network marketing profession. And I want to applaud all of you for that. We have, like Eric said, people representing all 5 continents. All the companies pretty much are represented here in the form of either 6 or 7-figure earners. We have several thousand of those in this room. We have dozens of corporate attending this event, which makes me even more proud, because there are CEOs in this room, there are high executives, VP of different departments. They took time out of their busy schedules to be here with us today, and I'm grateful for all of you guys. And of course, Eric and myself, we wanted to create an event that is something special, something unique. And it's not only just to motivate and inspire all of you. Of course, that's important. But the biggest goal for us is to bring you the latest and greatest strategies, to bring you the leadership tips necessary, all the social media inputs that we can gather from around the world. Wait till you see how this event gonna start tonight with the social media panel and the whole social media night. So all of those different strategies and keys and of course fundamental skills, they're all for you. So you can take it home, so you can take a lot of notes and bring it back to your teams. But most importantly, I want all of you lock arms with us on the mission that Eric and myself have, is to raise the bar of network marketing profession, because we have a gift. Inside of this profession, we have a great gift. And I want you to help us share this mission, spread the word, and do it in the most professional way possible. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.
Love you, babe. Give her one more round of applause. She does all the hard work. So, I'm so excited. As soon as we finish GoPro Recruiting Mastery last year, we start the countdown to the next one, right? Getting ready. Over this last 12 months, we've traveled the world. We've spoken to over 250,000 people face to face. We've studied what the fastest growing organizations are doing to succeed. We've taken a look at what some of the organizations that are not growing and why. The goal for this event, for all of you, is that you take a moment for yourself. And this is different than your corporate convention. And if you ever have a choice, you always have to choose your corporate convention as a priority, okay? Corporate convention is number one. But this is different because you have to kind of play the game at your corporate convention, don't you? You've got to, just be the right kind of political stuff with your downline and with your upline and with the cross line, and there's ego involved, there's all different kinds of stuff. Here, you're going to see the big pond, not just maybe the big fish in the smaller pond, but you're going to see a big picture of what's going on. And what I want for you is that you take 3 days for you. And after all the hugging and saying hi and high-fiving your friends, that you really take this time of year, which is one of the most valuable times of year for me, because I reflect during this period of time on my previous year. And I plan for my next year. And I want you to fill your notes up with good ideas. I want you to think about the strategies that are going to be most important for you. Take the ideas that come out of all of the different speakers that are going to be sharing this stage and use it to create your best life. I want you to imagine, what is your best life? What would that look like? What would that feel like? And I want you to give yourself permission to actually believe it can happen for you. There's people in this room that have earned $100 million in commissions in the network marketing profession as a distributor, okay? How many people here in this room are currently earning over $1 million a year in network marketing commissions? Raise your hands, please. Take a look around. $1 million a year. That's available. That's on the table. So I want you to think about, I want you to dream, I want you to let your imagination go. So, as I said, we have people from dozens of countries around the world, over 100 different companies represented. Let me tell you about the agenda for this event and just give you some housekeeping before I give you a little bit of an opening talk of what I think is really important for the network marketing profession. Number one, we're going to try our very, very best to start on time for every session and to finish on time for every session. So you can count on it, so you know. And part of that is asking all of you to play like a professional. What does that mean? Be here early, be here on time, buttoned up, looking sharp, taking notes. Nobody's too cool to learn. You're here to learn, right? So play like a pro when you're here. And tomorrow is the long day. Let me just prepare you. Tonight, we're going to go till 9 o'clock. We're going to have a little VIP party. Looking forward to that. It's going to be great. For the rest of you, you can kind of enjoy the night, hang out with your group. But tomorrow, we go all day and into the night. So just kind of mentally prepare for an intense day tomorrow. Because the third day, we go only till 8 p.m. So it won't be so difficult that third day way into the night. We're going to have, this time, 5 different panel discussions. We're going to have a social media panel discussion, which you're going to hear tonight. We're going to have a women's panel, the most powerful women in network marketing panel. We're going to have a panel, ladies. We're going to have a panel for network marketing ambassadors, people who've stood the test of time, been around for a long time, sharing their ideas. We're going to have a panel for international network marketing around the world, people from different regions around the world sharing what's going on in different regions around the world. And the 5th one is a brand new one on tools, systems, and campaigns. Sharing ideas on the tools and systems people are using in order to be able to have more growth and more success. Now, in addition to that, we've got a number of different $1 million earners. I'm going to be working with you, providing about 8 hours of training myself. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing skills, fundamentals. It's the 7 fundamental skills of being a network marketing professional. I've sharpened that up. You'll see some fresh stuff tomorrow with that. And then on day 3, I'm going to be talking about leadership. How do you become an influencer? I'm going to be talking about influence. We're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And then we're going to end by helping you with all the information that we have. The final session is going to be creating your 2019 game plan. to make 2019 the best year of your professional career. Who's ready to have that happen? Yeah? Now, we're going to introduce him in just a little bit, but our friend Curtis Broom is going to be hosting over the course of this weekend. It's not even a weekend, but over the course of these 3 days, Curtis Broom is going to be helping out with that, and we'll bring him out in just a little bit. Now, one thing I do need to say, and I need to say it every time, is this arena is a safe and sacred space. It's the most important thing that I need to say to all of you. This is no kidding and no joke. This is a no recruiting zone. And not only a no recruiting zone, it's a no solicitation zone. And we have to take this. Nobody thought we could do what we're doing right now. Nobody thought it would even be possible. Who would come from and bring your group into a room like this with a bunch of competitors? Who would ever do that? Why have we been able to do that for 9 straight years, providing the value that we've been providing and sharing the ideas? Why? Because we treat this boundary very, very seriously. So there's no solicitation. I would ask of you, I know you're proud of your companies, but please take your logo gear and leave it in the room. Take your pins off and put them in the room. If you have your products, please don't bring them into the room. It's even as simple as that. We don't want any distractions here. We don't want anybody to think that somebody else is acting to promote whatever it is that they're doing. So that's number one, is all the stuff, put down your tools of mass destruction, put them into your hotel room, leave them there, use them there, of course. But second is no solicitation, no matter how subtle, please. This is a place for you to come and learn and for your team to do the same thing. So, and it happens both ways. There are some people in this room right now that are going to ask, hey, what company are you with? Oh, tell me more about it. Oh, I'm looking for a home. They'll be shopping for a home in here. You need to tell that person, this is not the place for that. I wish you the best, but I treat this responsibility very seriously. And on the other side, any of you, I get it. When I got involved in the profession, I would have viewed this as the world's greatest all-you-can-eat buffet. It's like, oh my God, can you imagine if all these people were frontline to me? Oh, I'd be rich. I'd never have to worry about anything ever again. Don't do it. Just don't. Now, if someone tries to prospect you, I would ask you, please, even if you feel like, oh, I don't want to tattle on them, please let somebody on our staff know immediately. Because if that happens, we'll ask that person to leave. There will not be a refund. They will not be asked back. It's that serious, okay? So to start this with this big downer, but look, you have teams here, right? You want them to feel safe, right? You want to be able to let them go have breakfast on their own without freaking out, right? Please honor that. How many people are willing to honor that sacred pledge? Make some noise, please. All right, fantastic. I would also tell you on social, use the hashtag GoPro2018 for this 3 days. Use that hashtag GoPro2018. Anybody that uses that, we're going to put them into a drawing for a whole bunch of free gifts over the course of these 3 days. Our team's going to be pulling out stuff. Just so hashtag away. Go have fun. Let's let the world know that network marketing is here. I've been seeing the social over the last 24 hours. It's gearing up. But let's take it to another level, okay? All right. So, I got a little bit of time to talk to you to start this off. And I have a unique view of the network marketing world. I see things that other people don't see. I speak to dozens and dozens of companies. I coach and mentor many of the top companies and top leaders. I see things, I think, from a unique view. I know you see it from your company. I know you see it from your organization. But I want to give you what I think is the most important paradigm shift, maybe in network marketing's short history. We're at a crossroads right now, this moment. And I want to start off by letting you know what that crossroad is, and then what we can do about it together. It's very hopeful and it's very exciting, because if you ask the question, what's required for long-term success in network marketing? We could have that debate, couldn't we? With all these company owners, with all these top distributors, we'd come up with a pretty good laundry list. Here's one: a breakthrough product. A product that solves an incredible need, a product that's priced to sell, a product that's unique, a product that's trademarked, a product that is amazing, spectacular, clinically proven. Everybody wants this breakthrough, buzz, sizzle, exciting product, right? That's what everybody wants. Now, is that what's needed for a breakthrough? Of course you want to compete, but the answer is no. The answer is no. Products come and products go. Products arrive, products depart, products change, products adapt, services do the same thing. So breakthrough products are great, but it's not the thing. Next on the list is maybe an innovative compensation plan. Some of you are saying, my compensation plan is proven to pay out more dollars, which is so silly. There's only so many dollars. Most companies pay out just about the same based upon their cost of goods on their product. So compensation plan, you might think, is a competitive advantage, and it might be something that you're proud of, but it's not the difference maker for a long-term sustained dynasty. Maybe your company has perks. Maybe you've got car programs. That's the difference. Maybe you've got, trips and cool things. Maybe that's the difference. I'm telling you, it's not. You need to compete, but it's not the difference. So if it's not products, it's not compensation plan, maybe it's incredible recognition. We have a recognition program that fills people up, that inspires people, that makes people excited, that makes people proud, that causes people to take more action. And the answer is no. Yes, of course, you need to compete. Yes, of course, we need to do better. Yes, of course. Some of the great organizations in the world have recognition structures that are second to none, but it's not the difference. Maybe it's a supportive company, a company who really cares, a company who wants to have your back, a company who believes in you. It's not the difference. It's great, love it, necessary, but are there some companies that succeed where the company isn't that supportive? The answer is yes. Maybe it's an amazing event culture inside the company. If you could just create an event culture inside the company, you fill up these arenas around the world, that's going to be the thing that creates long-term sustained success. Now, should you do that? The answer is yes. But is that the secret sauce for long-term success? The answer is no. Of course, you want to have it. Some think it's international expansion. We take a look at all the different countries represented in this room. International expansion. If we can create an international platform, if we could just be a small company in 100 countries. Wow. Maybe that'll be the difference. Some think it's innovation. We've got to innovate. Social media, strategies, tactics, systems. Maybe it's a duplicatable system. I've heard people say, man, if anything ever happens to my company, you know what I'm going to look for? A simple, duplicatable system in some other company. because that's the key. Now, should you have duplicatable systems? Of course. Should you have all these things? Should you have recognition? Would it be nice to have a great compensation? Would it be nice to have an amazing breakthrough product that competes in the marketplace? All of that stuff is important and great, but everyone's looking there, and they're looking in the wrong place for a long-term dynasty. Let me tell you, the engine that drives everything, the engine that drives all success, the engine that creates all long-term income, contribution, growth, legacy, all of it, the engine that drives it all, you know what it is? It's you. It's you. You in this room, and specifically the influencers among you. There's a difference between a distributor and an influencer, right? I say that distributors are disposable. Professionals are permanent. Distributors come and go. Professionals will be here for the long term. So I've got to tell you, the one thing that you can drive, of course you can drive recruiting, but the real thing that's the most important, more important than anything else, is the influencers in your organization. And I want to talk specifically about it because it's critically important. And everyone's looking in the wrong direction. The company needs to change the product. The company needs to do this. We've got to make this change. We've got to make that change. It has nothing to do with your dynasty. The influencers do. The influencers are the machine that drives it all, the engine within the engine. All those other things, hear me, this might be controversial. We're going to start off with a little controversy. Your impact product, you know what it is? It just buys you time to develop more influencers. Your incredible event structure buys you time to develop more influencers. Your great recognition program buys you time to keep people around long enough so you can develop more influencers from the people that you bring in. That's what all of that stuff does. It just buys you time. Because the development of a human being, a distributor, into an influencer takes time. Doesn't happen overnight. So, let's talk about the characteristics of an influencer. I'm going to give you 5 characteristics of an influencer, and I want you to ask yourself 2 questions as I do this. Question number 1, do you possess these 5 characteristics personally? And 2, how many people on your team possess these 5 characteristics? Number 1, they're independent. These are independent people. They're not needy, they're not whiny, they're not crying, they're independent. They got this. They're going, they're doing it. They don't need you to push them. They don't need you to wake them up. They don't need you to remind them to go to the event. They got it. Number 1, independent. Number 2, they're a problem solver. They solve problems. Problem shows up, they fix the problem. Boom. They don't bring problems to other people. They don't whine about it. They don't complain about it. They spend 5% of the time on the problem, 95% of the time on the solution, and they do it with or without anybody's help. That's characteristic number 2. Characteristic number 3 is they're consistent. They just don't do it for a minute. They stay in the game. You don't have to worry about if they're hot or cold because they're in the game. Consistency, number 3. Number 4, they create action where action wouldn't have happened without them. They walk into the room and people get into more productivity. The fact that they're on the planet, even though they're 1,000 miles away, causes people to take more action. For whatever reason, however they do it, whatever magic dust they have, they create more action and energy just by the fact of them being connected to the organization. That's number 4. And number 5, they have a big vision. They've got a big vision for themselves, big vision for their teams, big vision for their organizations. So I want you to think about something. And I'm not going to ask you to answer this question like out loud, but in your notes. Do you have all 5 of these characteristics? Yes or no? And if you don't, you know what you need to work on in order to become the influencer that you need to become. When problems show up, do you go into these characteristics? Or do you start complaining to the company? Do you start going to your upline? Do you start mumbling about changes that need to happen? Or whining about your product? Or hoping your convention was better? Or whatever it happens to be. Number 2, I want you to take a little inventory. How many people on your team fit this criteria? How many do you have? For most of you, this is like, oh. Oh. If you're earning $1 million a year or more, please stand up. Wow. All right. Stay standing, please. So, Ryan, how many influencers would you think you have on your team based upon this criteria, approximately? Just shout it out. If you had to guess.
About 4.
4? On your whole team? Okay, you're tough.
Well, I have a high standard.
You have a high standard. Okay. Angel, how many do you think you have?
I think that we have different levels of influencer.
I understand. Just be generous.
Probably 300.
300. All right, fantastic. You got to get together on your criteria.
I'm just a little bit softer.
You're softy. He's tough. Tom and Denise, how many do you think?
I would think it was about 25, Eric.
25 or so. Danian, just shout it out. We don't need the mic. 45? 60? How about you? 25? How about you?
I'd say hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah.
Really? How much you making, sister?
We're really blessed.
You're really blessed? Like how much you make this year?
Just under 3.
Under 3 million. Give her a round of applause. Well done. About how much? About how many?
I have at least 30 top.
30? 30 or so?
300 that are like real close.
I understand. Real close. She says she has 300 real close. That's her farm team. The ones she's got on the field are 30. Okay? How many you got? About 50? 50? 30? 10? 30? How about you? 50? How about you? 10? Lisa, you?
I have a high standard.
I understand.
I'd say 5 super and 10 more, so maybe 15 less.
15?
Less than 20.
12? What you got? 25?
About 65.
65? 25? 40? Whitney? What do you think? What do you think? 50? How about you? 12? How many you got? 20? 40? Yeah, 40? So I can go all the way around. You guys go ahead and sit down. Give all of them a big round of applause. These are superstars in our profession. I've done a lot of work on this, and here's what I'm going to tell you. The average number of influencers for $1 million a year income is approximately 25 to make $1 million a year. Some are tougher at judging it. Some are more friendly at judging it. So the name of the game, the name of the whole game is, can you become an influencer? What is this weekend about? You become an influencer. And then take inventory within the people that you have to see how many people are ready to become an influencer. Those 5 things, put them back up on the screen. Put those 5 things back up. Are these brain surgery? They're not, are they? They'd be like entry level in working in any corporation in the world. What if Google said, all you got to do is have these 5 things, you can come work for us and have an executive position? How long would the line be? This is not that hard, but it is required. And guess what? Most people in the network marketing profession, you know what we do? Come on in, you don't have to do much. We'll take care of you, it's all fine. You know why? We have this breakthrough product. Our events are amazing. Wait till you see our compensation plan. Our company cares. It's not the thing. Those are all important, they're all great. But guess what you need to become? You need to become an influencer factory, starting with you. If you create a home for people who are hungry, and you know all I need to develop somebody into an influencer? One characteristic. Hungry. Give me somebody who's hungry. Broke and hungry, rich and hungry, I don't care. Doesn't matter. But if they're hungry, I can teach them these. If they're hungry, I'm not talking about that hungry. That's the deal. Create an environment within your organization that a person who wants to become an influencer feels at home, feels safe, feels encouraged, feels like they're on track, feels like they're in the right situation, and they are being nurtured. They're being developed. That's the deal. That's what this is all about. Every bit of it. So let me talk to you about what happens, and one of the most dangerous things, but one of the most important things. Let's talk about momentum. How many people really love momentum? Anybody? How many people, your company's in momentum right now? Raise your hands, please. Oh my God, it's so amazing. You don't even have to be that good. All you got to do is be busy. Everybody's saying yes, everybody's joining. It's as simple, it's easy, it's working. Everything works like crazy. Now here's what happens. It's exciting when that happens. But I got to tell you the truth. After being around the network marketing profession for 30 years, here's the truth. Momentum usually lasts about 18 months. It usually lasts about 18 months. Sometimes a little bit longer if there's a unique circumstance. But guess what happens with all momentum? Eventually, it leaves. Momentum goes away. And guess what momentum is always followed by? Challenging times. Everything's not working. Things are challenging. Maybe company's going in the wrong direction, and there isn't as many people at your convention as used to be, and a leader leaves here or there. 100% of the time after momentum, this occurs. Not 90, 100. So, there are seasons in every business, and the other thing that happens with momentum is it reinforces some pretty bad habits. First of all, anybody that's in momentum thinks they're a genius. They're so smart. They're reinventing network marketing. They have solved every problem that's ever been out there. They've fixed it all. Every company's going to be copying them anytime soon. How many companies, how many examples do I need to show you? I'm not going to bring up company names, but go back over the last 10 years. How many of them were crowing 7 years ago, saying they were changing everything, and where are they today? Not the same. There's a lesson that you need to learn. I learned early on in my network marketing career, and here's the lesson. And it's true for you personally, it's true for your organization, and it's true for your company. You only get to make what you are. You only get to make what you are as a company. And if you don't grow the level of influencers in your company to the level of revenue that you are generating, I promise you, the level of revenue that you are generating will eventually settle back down to the level of influencers that are involved in your organization. Same thing's true in your group. Same thing's true in your country. Same thing's true everywhere. The truth about influencer growth is this: it's very difficult to grow influencers more than 10% a year. 10% a year looks something like this. Should throw this up, please. 10% a year looks something like this. That's what it looks like. How many of companies in this room right now are currently growing more than 10% a year? Raise your hands, please. Really? That's it? Surprised me. I think it'd be more than that. But you hear about them a lot, right? They're growing like crazy. They got what? Momentum. So here's what happens. They grow up here. And it's so amazing that they pour gasoline on it. And people are like looking at, oh, this is a hot company. Oh, this is exciting. Oh, maybe I can make some more money over there. And they recruit some other people from inside the profession, and up it goes and up it goes. And still down here, this is the size of their real business. So since you can't grow 100% a year every year because you'd have all the money in the world in 30 years, can't do it, eventually what has to happen? This has got to come down here at some point. Now, all of this, we'll take this volume, but it's not real. You need to understand this. This is temporary. This down here is permanent. This is temporary. Take it. The commission check's cash. It's fine. But just know that our goal here is to do this. Why are we doing all this stuff up here? To buy us time. Why do we need to buy time? Because influencer growth is very difficult to grow more than 10% year over year. So that's why we come up with the promotions, and that's why we come up with the incentives, and that's why we come up with the excitement, that's why we come up with new products in order to keep these people in the game long enough that these lines come together. Take a look at the billion-dollar giants that have been around for 30 years. Why are they still billion-dollar giants? Because they stayed around long enough that their influencer line matched their sales line. So, the repeating cycle of our profession is this: growth, plateau, decline, and then what? Now we have a differentiating factor between some of you and others. Some of you in growth, you're excited, that's great. But when you hit plateau or when you hit decline, it is not a negative thing. It's actually a positive thing. In the stock market, it's called consolidation. You need time to thicken it up. So instead of getting scared, here's what happens. Some people leave as soon as you plateau. You know why? They're addicted to the momentum. A steady diet of cocaine will do that. At some point you need to eat some vegetables. But it's true. Some people, as soon as it goes down like this, they start pointing at the company, they start pointing at the product, they start pointing at the compensation plan and the events and all the other stuff, and they go out in search of somebody else who has momentum. And when they find that person who has momentum, they jump to that company that has momentum. And if that company's already in momentum, do they have less than 18 months? The chance is excellent that they're about to run out again. And then they're in search of the next, and they're in search of the next, and then they're in search of the next. Some people make a living out of poaching leaders who are in companies that are plateaued or in decline. I came here to tell you the truth. Some companies mask the real problem of influencer growth with international expansion. Let's see how many countries we can open up. Prop this one up because this one's in decline, and prop this one up because that one's in decline, and prop this one up because that one's in decline. And they bounce around the world with the same number of influencers that they started the journey with. Some leaders check out. And part of that's our fault. Because we say, work 2 to 5 years like other people don't, so you can have for the next 30 years what other people don't. You know, they get to the top, it gets hard. They say, well, I guess my run's over. I'm out. They check out. Sometimes companies get desperate. They start throwing incentives at everything. They have 1 million incentives, one every 15 minutes. They're changing the formulas of everything. They're revamping the compensation plan. And it's not those things that were the problem. The problem is the influencer wasn't being developed or didn't stay in the development structure. And sometimes an us versus them mentality kicks in. And it starts being corporate versus field. And they're looking in the wrong direction. They're all looking to this other stuff, and they're all pointing fingers. And the name of the game is influencer growth. So let me give you the formula for lasting improvement in our profession, for all of you, and for what we're trying to do here over these 3 days. My wish for all of you is that you all step into another level of influencer development yourself personally. And second, that you build a team of people that are impenetrable. Because here's the thing. We're in the business of influencer development, right? We're talking about mindset, skills, strategy, influence. Education is really important. And some of us can't be bothered. Well, skills. Well, I'm bored with that. Just give me another promotion. You've got to take the time to develop your people. And you have to do a second thing. In addition to the education of your people, the training of your people, the mentorship, because that's what influencer development is all about. Mentorship. You get yourself to that level, you mentor somebody who's raised their hand that's hungry, and you help them get to that level, and you teach people to do the same thing. Because here's the story. The education's one side, but guess what else is important? You have to tell your team, it's not always going to be growing like this. You have to tell your team, it's not always going straight up. That doesn't mean we're not always going to be getting better. There's going to be seasons when your check's not going up, but your influencer level is. That's your security. Your influencer group is your security, because if you don't inoculate your team, when times get tough, they'll leave. And they'll be caught in this silly cycle of repeat and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. So you got to tell your team, guess what? Over a long enough timeline, we're going to be growing like this. And sometimes we're going to be growing like this. And sometimes we're not going to be growing at all. And sometimes we're going to be in a slight decline. And sometimes things are going to be straight down. And then other times it's going to be back up like this. And that's what life looks like over a 30-year career. Instead of digging up your roots and going to find something else that's growing like this because you loved it so much, just understand, underneath all of this effort is this. This is made of granite. This is made of bedrock. This is something so solid and so powerful. But in order to protect this, you have to inoculate. You have to prepare your team. And I know it's not fun talking about not going straight up all the time. But if you prepare them, they'll stay, because this here, what I've shaded out, is your real mission. That's your real security. That's your real growth. That's your real future. Do you understand? So here's what I'm here to tell you. This is what Network Marketing Pro is all about. This is what GoPro Recruiting Mastery is all about. We're going to tell you the truth for these 3 days. We're going to work on skills. We're going to work on mindset. We're going to work on strategy together for these 3 days. The goal is not to impress you. The goal is not to pump you up. The goal is that you leave here with a quiet confidence that says, I've got this. Because underneath my business, it's thickening up every minute of every day. And let all the people run around with their sparklers doing their stuff. Doesn't matter. I wish the best for them. We'll have our sparkler times, and we'll have our times when everybody needs to have a group hug. There's sometimes when it's not fun. There's sometimes when it's challenging. There's sometimes when you get betrayed or stabbed in the back. There's sometimes when your best friend leaves. There's sometimes when the product blows up or you get bad press or some unfair thing happens inside your business. That stuff happens. You can control the influencer line. We're not talking about a huge group of people. If an average is for $1 million a year is 25, what if you figured out a way to find 50 people in locked arms and help them develop those 5 characteristics? What about 100? It's not 100,000. You can find 100 people in your city. That's enough to be able to create a dynasty. You ever heard the story Acres of Diamonds? The story is, farmer was content, but then he heard a story about diamonds. He became discontented. Started traveling the world, sold his farm, traveled the world looking for diamonds, never ended up finding diamonds. Somebody else bought his farm, and sure enough, they found behind the farm one of the biggest diamond mines in the world. He was sitting on it the whole time. What I'm here to tell you is the Acres of Diamonds is inside your organization right now. All they got to be is hungry. You can work with hungry. And if you do, 3 days from now, we'll have a strategy. We'll have a game plan. And yes, you're going to get excited about your product. And yes, you're going to get fired up about your next convention. And you're going to recognize people like crazy. And you're going to do all the different stuff like crazy. But you know what all that's doing? What is it doing? It's buying you time. Buying you time for the influencers to rise. And as they rise, everything good will happen for you. You don't need to worry about the flavor of the month. You don't need to worry about what's hot in the moment. What is hot eventually grows cold. It's okay. Love them all. Focus on your team. The Acres of Diamonds are inside of your group. So my message for you, as you start to fill your notes, is we have a mission to get away from the hype and to get away from the nonsense and to get away from the infighting. We've hit a plateau as a profession. And we will not grow like we're supposed to grow until we start focusing more on the leader development, the influencer development inside of our organizations. And when that happens, everything will change. You'll see growth go up. It's not about US being down or this market being up. None of that stuff matters. Create a home where somebody who's hungry feels cared for. Together, all of us, over these next 3 days, we're going to take the entire profession to the next level. Who's with me? Yeah, you with me? Come on, let me hear it for real. All right, everybody. I'll be back in a bit. I love you very much.